What if I told you that one episode of a cartoon managed to explore mind control, identity erasure, and the terrifying idea that forgetting might be the only way to survive? This is not some dark adult drama. This is Gravity Falls. And the episode we are talking about today might be the most disturbing one in the entire series. By the end of this video, you are going to see this show completely differently. And there's one character you've probably laughed at for years who's actually hiding one of the most tragic backstories in animation history. But I'll get to that in a moment. Okay, so on the surface, this episode looks like a simple secret society mystery. Dipper and Mabel notice some weird behavior from the townspeople. They investigate, they stumble onto this creepy organization called the Blind Eye Society. Standard cartoon adventure, right? But here's the thing. What this episode is actually about goes so much deeper than that. This episode reveals the most dangerous truth about Gravity Falls itself. This town is not just strange, it is being controlled, deliberately, systematically. And the people doing it are not monsters or demons, they're ordinary townspeople. The Blind Eye Society has one mission, and it is terrifyingly simple. They erase memories. Whenever someone in Gravity Falls sees something supernatural, something unexplainable, these people show up and they wipe it from your mind. Every creature, every paranormal event, every truth gone. And you wake up the next morning thinking everything is fine. Now, this part is where it gets really unsettling. The show forces you to ask a question that has no easy answer. When a person learns the truth, does that actually set them free? Or do some truths destroy people? Because the philosophy behind the Blind Eye Society is horrifying, but also weirdly logical. They believe that some knowledge is too dangerous, that certain things will break a person if they remember them, so forgetting becomes protection. And the worst part is while you're watching this episode, there's a moment where you think maybe they have a point. And that feeling right there is exactly what makes this so dark. Gravity Falls is telling us that sometimes evil does not come from bad intentions. Sometimes evil comes from people who genuinely believe they are helping. But the real psychological horror starts when you think about what memory actually is. The Blind Eye Society is not just erasing events from people's minds, they're rewriting who those people are. Because your memories are not just a collection of things that happened to you, they are you. Your fears shape your decisions, your trauma shapes your growth. If you remove those things, does the same person even exist anymore? This episode is showing us something that I can only describe as identity murder, and they're doing it over and over again to an entire town. Now here's where it gets even more disturbing. The episode implies that this has been going on for years, maybe decades, and it's not just a few people. Most of the residents of Gravity Falls have probably had their memories erased multiple times. Think about that for a second. You see a monster one day, you witness something impossible, maybe you even see a sign of Bill Cipher himself. But the next morning, everything feels normal because someone came in the night and reset your brain. The townspeople are not just ignorant, they might be programmed. And this opens up the much darker theory that I need you to consider. What if Gravity Falls itself is a trop? If everyone who sees the truth gets their memory wiped, then nobody ever tries to leave, nobody warns the outside world, nobody even remembers there's something to escape from. The town could be functioning like a mental prison, and the scariest weapon the Blind Eye Society has is not some ray gun or supernatural artifact. Their weapon is forgetting. But this is not just cartoon logic. This is actually a real metaphor for something that happens in life. Some people choose to forget painful things because remembering hurts too much. Some families never talk about certain events because acknowledging them would tear everything apart. Some entire societies try to bury their history because facing it feels impossible. This episode is exploring all of that. Forgetting can protect you, but forgetting can also trap you. and the line between those two things is terrifyingly thin. Okay, now we need to talk about the moment that completely changes this episode. McGucket. For most of the series, this guy is just the crazy old man. He shows up, he says weird things, he's comic relief. But in this episode, everything shifts. We learn that McGucket is not crazy, he's broken. He saw too much. He experienced things that no human mind should have to process. And to survive it, he erased his own memories over and over and over again until there was almost nothing left. This moment hits different because the show spent so long making you laugh at this character. And then suddenly you realize you were laughing at a tragedy. The Gravity Falls does this thing where it gives you something funny and then pulls back the curtain to show you the pain underneath. McGucket's condition is not weakness, it's what happens when a person sees so much horror that losing their mind becomes the only way to keep living. That's an incredibly heavy idea for any show, let alone one aimed at younger audiences. And then the episode reveals who runs the Blind Eye Society. The leader is the town doctor, the person everyone trusts, the person people go to for help. This is telling us something important. The real danger is not the obvious monster. Sometimes the real danger is the person who is supposed to protect you, the healer, the authority figure, the one you never suspect. The memory erasing device in this episode works as a symbol for so many real things: censorship, propaganda, the deliberate destruction of truth. Any system that decides what people are allowed to know and what they must forget. And once you start thinking about it that way, the episode becomes genuinely chilling. But there's an even darker theory I want you to consider. We assume the Blind Eye Society only targeted townspeople, but what if Dipper and Mabel have already had their memories erased? What if this is not actually their first summer in Gravity Falls? What if they came before and saw something and someone wiped it all away? There are moments in the series where Dipper seems to know things instinctively, little flashes of almost recognition. If this theory is true, then the most terrifying thing about Gravity Falls is not what it shows you, it's what it might have already hidden from you. One detail that people overlook is the masks. The members of the Blind Eye Society wear these blank face coverings, and that's not just about hiding their identities. A mask represents hiding your conscience. These people know what they're doing is wrong on some level, but they keep doing it because they've convinced themselves they're heroes. They believe they're saving people, and that's the most dangerous kind of evil. Throughout history, the worst things have been done by people who are absolutely certain they were right. At the end of the episode, Dipper and Mabel seem to defeat the Blind Eye Society, but even here, the show is not letting us off easy. Organizations like this don't just disappear. You stop one and another takes its place. Because as long as people are afraid of the truth, there will always be someone willing to help them forget. The real horror of this episode is not the society itself, it's the implication that some secrets in Gravity Falls will never be revealed. Not because they're hidden too well, but because the very memory of them has been erased from everyone who ever knew. The show doesn't give you all the answers, it gives you just enough to make your imagination fill in the rest. And your imagination will always create something more terrifying than anything they could show you directly. So I want to leave you with this question. Who was the real villain in this episode? Was it the Blind Eye Society? Or was it the truths that made them believe forgetting was the only option? If you want me to keep breaking down episodes like this, drop a comment telling me which one to cover next. Because I promise you, we have barely scratched the surface. This town is hiding things that go way deeper than most people realize. And next time, we're going to dig into something even darker.